I think the girls with their nails done
Oh my god, Sassy!
the girls with their nails done.
Getting up peeking, and in fact he's going to find the stall right away. Finds Kiku as well, and finds Lipa. Beautifully done here from Lavelle. Has this covered. Lavelle with the double, possibly one more. Can he find them? He's going to find the triple.
Hello and welcome everyone back to the Saints Gaming channel. This is Shadi Zeddy Hannah, and joined alongside me tonight is, of course, Jackson Deprived Brown. We have another great night of CCL Call of Duty lined up for you guys against Butler University. It is going to be a great match, tons of excitement. If you just came from the College COD stream, welcome. But we're here starting fresh with a match number 2. Jackson, what are you feeling about tonight's match? What can you tell me about these two teams?
Well, you know, both teams are very solid teams, you know, pretty high ranked here in the CCL. I think Butler is currently sitting at 8-1, St. Clair College now sitting at 7-3. So we should have a pretty close one here tonight. And an interesting little fun fact kicking us off is actually maps 1 through 3 will all be played on Raid. So we will be seeing a lot of Raid tonight. It is a fan favorite map. So I hope you guys are locked in and excited for this one to get underway. So here we are per P1, hardpoint number 1. And you see both teams fighting for it. We see a pretty even hard point so far. Priestley searching to find players with his AR, unable to connect on anything there. And overall, Saints just going to try to regain a little bit more of control of the map.
I mean, this for me is a brand new experience, so I hope you all as viewers will bear with me here as we learn this beautiful game of Call of Duty together. Already taking a look at the scoreboard here. We mentioned before earlier, you were telling me off cast, Deprive, about how solid Sauce and Priestley are as top fraggers in Call of Duty. And already looking at the scoreboard here, Priestley leading with 4 kills on the side of St. Clair, really kind of pulling up for his team right at the start of this round.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, Priestley, he's been one of the most consistent players throughout the CCL all year, and he's just going to continue to do it. He's currently sitting at 5-4. Like, doesn't really seem like anybody else in the Saints can really kind of get things going, but Priestley, he just doesn't have any issues, right? And I mean, it's so interesting because Priestley, he doesn't really want to take the next step into, you know, pursuing challengers, Call of Duty, or whatever it may be, like, you know, going actually pro, but he just loves playing for the Saints and doing what he does. And it's so amazing how great of a player he actually is. And he's just going to continue to keep it up throughout this one. And, you know, we're going to see the Saints. They're going to try to retake this hard point, but it is a little bit unfortunate so far for the Saints as, you know, they did actually have that second rotation control right off the spawns, like right off the start of the game, and they actually lost that. So it's going to result in Butler taking an early 43-point lead here in this matchup. But the Saints, they will have control of next, but Lavelle, he's going to be quickly shut down. That's the first line defense there, gone. Priestley and Brandon, though, will answer back, and Sauce going to find one there on a Siren.
Advantageous point swap there for St. Clair. Looked like they were kind of conceding on that last point, you know, as you mentioned, 40-point lead going over to Butler. I think pretty happy to just take things slow, wait for a more advantageous point, see if you can get that defender's advantage. Already, again, Level showing up on the kill feed, trading kills there. Priestley just getting knocked totally off onto the side there. It's going to be Butler trying to make a contest on this point. You can already see them kind of crowding up from the top side, fighting for that point, trying to stall out St. Clair's point generation for a little bit as they burn the clock. You know, when you have these point advantages, you can take your time a little bit and just play and dance around with the enemy team. You don't need to force for that contest super hard.
Yeah, so one of the big things I'm noticing right here early in this game is Butler, they look a lot more calm and collected than the Saints. The Saints, they're coming off of a loss on the CCL stream, right? So they got to be a little bit agitated, and they got to use that momentum to boost them into a little bit of a better momentum here in this one. But the thing is they just look a little bit messier compared to what Butler's looking like right now. Like, yes, that was a great break there from the Saints on the hill, but look at that. SK is going to shut down Sauce and Brandon. Going to put so much pressure onto Priestley here. they do still have good spawns. So Saints slowly making a comeback, but Butler, just like I was saying, looks so organized, and they are finding all these kills that they need to do. You currently see Vortex 9 and 4. You see SK 10 and 8, Plasma 10 and 8. They are all doing very well in the slang department. And then you have Sheeran. He is sitting with a minute and 22 objective time, just racking up the points for Butler. Like a minute 22 is 88 seconds, so he has 88 out of 100 Butler's points. So it's absolutely phenomenal stuff there from him. So overall, St. Clair, though, they will be crawling back. They're only down by about 9 points here now, but Butler University, they do have control of next, and Lavelle's in a little bit of trouble down there due to SK. And, you know, they're just completely stopping the Saints in their tracks.
Great job from St. Clair to kind of close the point gap a little bit, pulling it up to a 90 to about 110 deficit now. Coming off of that rough start, I really like the way they held that contest up on the top left point, that up on that hill. They did a really good job of getting themselves established and holding their ground for a little bit. They were able to keep Butler off the point for a little while, but now actually managing to get the retake here. Priestley popping off on the side, the double kill there. Brandon actually finding a pick onto Plasma as well. Now St. Clair doing a decent job of keeping their opponents at bay, finding these cheeky angles and getting these picks from a distance before Butler can even contest the point. It's a good way to get your score climbed up. And now St. Clair actually managing to take the lead here.
Yeah, so, you know, they've definitely looked a little bit more organized now than they did in the early game here. Lavelle, he's starting to get under his way. He started off this game 0-8, and he's 7-12 now. So great bounce back there from Lavelle. And overall, I mean, St. Clair, yes, they did have a little bit of control of that point, but this point is a pretty hard one to lock down. So if you're St. Clair, you're in good positioning here. You don't have control of the point, but you have the good spawns. And Sauce is just going to come in here and do what he does best. He's getting all saucy on Butler here. He will fall to Vortex as he finds himself a 2K. Make it a 5-kill streak right now for Vortex and a multi-kill. So overall, Vortex popping off there. He will be shut down due to Sauce, though. And, you know, Butler, they do regain the lead here on this point, but the big thing I want to point out is if you look at the minimap, St. Clair did have control of spawns, but they lost. Okay, never mind, no. You will see Priestley spawn there on that hard point. So good stuff there from Saints to actually regain those spawns. The big thing I'm looking at here on the bottom left of your screen, the minimap. The St. Clair Saints, they're all on the very far left, and that's, you see where the lock is. That's where the next hard point is. So they want to make sure they get control of that, and they have the spawns so that they have control of that. But look at this. Right now, Saints are spawning out last second again, and this is looking good for Butler. They shouldn't have too big of problems retaking it, just like this. Vortex and SK, they all find one right away. Vortex makes it a second for him. Sauce can be the last line of defense. All of the Saints get shut down, and Butler with immaculate retake. Saints are going to have to pull this one back.
Yeah, it's just like we talk about in pretty much every other FPS title that we've casted here on the Saints Gaming channel. It's about that trickle, that stagger, really messing up with the enemy's tempo, right? St. Clair had that late spawn, that far spawn. They had a hard time getting onto that new point as it was opening up. And Butler, even though they were late to the point, they had the advantage in terms of numbers and just tempo. They were ready to respond right away and put that pressure down on the point. And now they've set themselves up beautifully. Priestley and Sauce both getting taken down as well before they even touch the point. And now St. Clair, with 10 seconds out from the new spawn, have completely conceded. Butler managed to pull that point. I believe they gained a 50-point advantage just off of that play alone. Really well done from this team.
Yeah, well, they're currently leading by about 65 right now, and you will see Butler University. They're going to try to be retaking the site. Sauce is in a pretty good spot here. You should find someone here shortly. But look at this. They are all just funneling in through the side of this hard point. Plasma will find Lavelle there, and now they are breaking into the site here. So it's going to be real interesting to see. Brandon going to fall. So Butler, they could have a pretty good shot here of actually getting a break on this hill, but Lavelle going to find two. There's a bunch of work there, and Priestley going to clean up the last one. That should secure the Saints at least another 25 seconds on this hard point. So good stuff there from the Saints. You don't start to slowly bring this one back. But if you're St. Clair, you really got to think about the next hard point. Look at this. Butler, they've completely given up this hill. They don't care about these last 20 seconds. They're all getting ready on the next hard point to shut down the Saints, right? If you look at that next hard point, I mean, it will pop up here on the bottom left of your screen in about 1 second. There it is. So it's very at the top left of your map. So overall, look at the Saints have so much work to do to break through this line of defense from Butler, and they really do have to do their best, you know, trying to find these opening kills, regain the spawns, and take over. It's one of the hardest things to do in Call of Duty, but when Lavelle and Priestley find kills like that, it really eases things up a little bit. One of the biggest things with Hardpoint, Zeddy, is always being one step in front of your opponent, right? Like, it's always being one step ahead of them, thinking, like, you know, just a couple hard points ahead rather than thinking about the now.
For sure, absolutely. And I have to say, I'm really quite impressed with the way that these teams are willing to concede objectives and move forward to the next one. You know, it takes a lot of discipline to recognize when you're beat on a point. Butler actually conceded that last point with about 15 to 20 seconds remaining on the clock, which is quite a bit of time to concede. Though you have to think St. Clair's getting points per second on that point. So really conceding a 20-point advantage to St. Clair, but knowing that if they tried to push forward, they would just end up losing on the next spawn as well. And St. Clair really, I mean, they end up getting it, but they get it by grace of God, really. Priestley and Lavelle just absolutely popping off on that last point, being able to pull themselves ahead. Now Sauce with the double kill, doing a great job of holding their tempo here now with that middle point. This is a really interesting point to contest. There's so many angles you can contest this point from, being right smack dab in the center of the map. And speaking of the map, God save this mini map. This is such a useful tool for figuring out how things are going and what's happened and where you're at. So if you're new to the game like me, you're trying to figure things out, keep your eyes on that bottom left side of the screen, because that is just so useful. And there it goes, Butler University with the 250 to 202 victory. Well done from Butler. Really well performed from this first one.
Yeah, so like I even said early in that game, Butler, they looked very calm and collected throughout the whole hard point, and they played a good game, right? I really do think that every time the Saints are beat on hard point, it has nothing to do with the fragging out, right? It has everything to do with thinking about one hard point above, or, you know, thinking about the future of the game. It feels like the Saints, they just need to do a little bit more on, you know, taking that discipline, like you were saying, to know when to give up the hill, right? So if you look on that basketball court hill, we saw there right as Butler, you know, was about to close out the game, the second last hard point. The Saints, they captured it 10 seconds, right? They captured it 10 seconds left, right? So, but the big thing is here for the Saints is you should have almost given up that hill, right? You could have rotated to next, locked down that one. Butler wasn't going to win off that hard point. You had enough time where you could go on to the next hill, lock that one down, and try to shut Butler out from it. It's just tough because it feels like the Saints, they always want to keep going and going and going to break in the hill. But like you were saying, the discipline is one of the biggest traits that has to come with a Call of Duty player.
For sure. And I mean, it's something we see in a lot of these titles. It's just teams understanding like how you want to attack an objective, right? Like at the end of the day, you know, with a shooter like this, like I come from MOBAs, right? That's my experience. And with MOBAs, your discipline is about understanding your timings, right? At certain times in the game, you have certain advantages. Whereas in a game like Call of Duty, and especially on Hardpoint, your advantages are not within minutes or like get periods, long periods of time with each other. It's 15 seconds, and the discipline matters so much more, because if you screw up, if you overstay for even like 3 or 5 seconds and you get caught and all of a sudden your respawn is delayed, that next point is gone as well. So understanding how critically you need to be disciplined on those points is just really impressive to see from teams like Butler as they showed up on that first map.
Yeah, and you know, that definitely explains why they are an 8-1 team right now and why they have been playing so well throughout all of the CCL. It's just really, you know, the thought process. COD, yes, it does require the gun skill that comes down to winning these gunfights, but a lot of it is the mentality of these players, right? How you feel going into a game, or how you know, how you think about the next hard point, or how you work as a team, right? A lot of it is mechanics rather than just gun skills. So it is really nice to see a school like Butler playing mechanics so well. And, you know, the college COD just really developing as a whole, right? You see teams playing better and better each year. And it's just something that's really nice to see. So Butler, they will be taking map 1 on raid there, the hard point. And we are going to be hopping right back into Search and Destroy on the exact same map. Like I said right at the beginning of the stream, if you are new here, we have 3 raids in a row. So we're just waiting on one player before this lobby gets underway and we start to load in. But overall, yeah, like we're seeing a triple raid right away. So if the Saints just they have to keep their heads up, right? They have to not be upset about that map, and really just use their anger they have or something, whatever it may be, that they just developed from losing that first map, and put it into the second game, put it into your actual game style and put it into your gameplay, and really, you know, just bounce back strong.
Yeah, take that raid and commit it into your gameplay. It looks like we are just about to get into that second map here on Search and Destroy, just waiting for that cue from production. But while we wait for that cue, let's have a quick shout out to our sponsors. Obviously, St. Clair College, St. Clair SRC, the St. Clair Alumni Association, PC Outlet, Zuckerman School of Business and IT, and Tim Hortons. Thank you all for supporting our broadcast tonight and allowing us to show these matches here on the Saints Gaming channel. We love having these games here for everyone to watch. And right off the bat, the first blood for SK, just absolutely knocking Lavelle before he can even touch that point.
Yeah, and Sauce is going to weaken that player, Siren. He's going to weaken him real weak, but isn't able to clean up the kill. So that immediately leaves Brandon and Priestley in a 2v4. Going to be a lot of work ahead of them, but Brandon, he will be able to even up the numbers a little bit more in their favor, as he will Drake out Siren. Now all up to SK, Plasma, and Vortex. And it's going to be versus Brandon and Priestley. So Brandon will go down. Priestley, last man alive, but if you have anybody as the last player alive for the Saints, you would want it to be Priestley. He's proven himself over and over throughout the season. Let's see what he can do here in this 1v3. So it looks like he is opting to go towards this A side a little bit. The bomb is down over there on B, though. So Butler, they know that bomb is down. They don't have to play near A at all. They don't really have to watch it. The bomb is going to be down on B, and they know it's there. So, you know, they're just going to be hanging around that bomb. It's going to force Priestley to have to push in here and play this position. Will spot Plasma, but Plasma will get the best of him and take him out. That's an early 1-0 lead for Butler University.
It's just unfortunate for St. Clair. Priestley was kind of caught there just not knowing what to do after all his friends were gone, losing 3 teammates so quickly into that round. Really hard to get the push when you're stuck in that one-man situation. It's just not ideal for you. Now, resetting here, though, might be a better chance for St. Clair here. They can start off, get themselves grouped, figure out their strategy, find that angle, that attack point. You can already see the team splitting up quite well already. Brandon off to the side, going to do his own thing for a little bit while the rest of his team groups up around B side.
Yeah, so overall, I mean, St. Clair, yeah, like you said, splitting up quite nicely. They're each taking a little bit of a piece of the map, not allowing any of the enemies to get behind their line, right? So it's a good thing to see there. They're each watching their own angle. They're each getting information, each getting their callouts done, right? So good stuff there from the Saints. They are on defense system around, so they really just have to prevent Butler from getting that bomb planted. One of the big, oh my God, Lavelle, that is a nice little cheeky spot there, and he's going to find SK, get the best of him there. Now just waiting to see if Siren peaks, and you know, Siren's almost like wants to go, but Lavelle's just sitting there waiting for him. So ultimately, he doesn't go. He does have the bomb, though. So overall, I mean, if you are St. Clair College here, you do have a 4v3 player advantage. Play it a little slow. Play your positions. A.K. Lavelle, he's getting so much intel for the squad right now. He almost finds himself there on the Plasma, but will get shut down ultimately. And now you will see Siren going to get that bomb down. Sauce will be there to stop him. Most of that bomb will be sitting there on the site. Sauce searching for another. Plasma, super weak, but ultimately Sauce is going to fall off, play his life a little bit more. And Vortex, going to be the last player alive, but he finds 2. Oh my God, that leaves Brandon and Vortex in a 1v1. Brandon, I think he still has time to fight this bomb.
Yeah, it's getting real intense. And St. Clair actually picking up the dub there. Brandon winning out the 1v1 against Vortex. I was going to say, it really looked like this team, like Butler University, their 1v1 potential is just so insane here. There's that clip of Vortex picking up that 1 versus 2 double kill. Really well done, well executed. But Plasma, I was going to give shout out to Plasma, winning out on 2 1v1 duels in that round, taking out Lavelle, and then also scaring off Priestley single-handedly. Even though Priestley had the jump on them, it just shows, like you were talking about, the mechanics, how important they are in a game like Call of Duty. And we're seeing that executed live right here in front of you, folks. Butler University demonstrating their mechanical ability tonight.
Yeah, you see an early trade go down. Brandon and Vortex going to trade out each other there. Siren going to fall shortly after to Sauce. So St. Clair College going to have the numbers once again in a 3v2 versus Plasma and SK. But you can't really be calm when you see I think it was Vortex. You got that 1v2. That is so hard to do in Call of Duty. Like, I feel like some people don't understand how hard it is to actually translate your bullets from one target to another. It's hard in a lot of games, but especially in Call of Duty, just because it's so quick for the time to kill for other people just to shut you down. So overall, that will be Saucy falling. Now it is a 2v2. Plasma and SK versus Lavelle and Priestley. Let's see who can get this one here. Saints currently on offense, and the bomb is sitting here on A. So Butler, they know they're going to really be focusing A. Priestley goes huge, cleans up SK, now leaves everything up to Plasma.
It looks like St. Clair, after getting that plant, it's really down to Plasma to try to pull this up together. Getting the flank on Priestley, finds a really good angle there. Nice sneak attack there from Plasma. That's exactly how you have to play this when you have that numbers disadvantage. Now Lavelle done taking a little swim there. He was just stepping out for a little bit. He can chill out while the rest of his team was fighting. But Plasma with the 1v1 again. This guy is crazy, man. I'm watching him play, and every single one of these gunfights is just going his way. It doesn't even seem fair. He's just always getting that first jump, finding that angle, getting that pick. Got another look at Priestley's beautiful pick to start off the round, but it doesn't matter when you're just getting outperformed on every angle. Plasma leading his team 5-1 right now going into round 4.
Yeah, he's having a phenomenal game for himself so far. I mean, Plasma absolutely playing phenomenal. And Butler, they will be back on the offensive side of things. So let's see if St. Clair can find another round here. I think it's been every single time that a team is on defense, they've won the round so far. So let's see if that trend continues. But look at this. Siren is already planting the bomb. This could be bad news for St. Clair, and yes, it is. That bomb is gutting down, and it is down. So overall now, if you're St. Clair, you're at an extreme disadvantage. You have 40 seconds to retake this whole site, and everybody from Butler, they can just sit back and wait for you to hop the bomb. You pretty much are in a perfect position if you're Butler right now. Priestley, he's going to see Vortex real quick. Vortex go. Smart decision. Falls off. Just waste more of St. Clair's time, right? And look at this. Only 20 seconds remain. Nothing has really developed. And it takes 7.5 seconds to defuse this bomb. There's so much to do still if you're St. Clair and so little time. Only 13 seconds remain. They still have 2 players to clean up. And Priestley, oh my god, he's completely popping off. Vortex can be the last player alive. St. Clair will get themselves the round. And that was insanely clutch. You know, I really didn't think that St. Clair would have had it in that one there and shut them down. But they did completely retake that site. They found all 4. They got the defuse. Excellent stuff there from St. Clair. And they played it very well.
Yeah, just an incredible performance from St. Clair. Here's Sauce with the play of the game, finding the pick onto Vortex before he can do any more damage. Just really well executed from all of the members of St. Clair to find their picks and group up. They've really locked down their strategy a little bit better. They're doing a much better job of collapsing here. But as you mentioned, it just seems to be that defender's advantage. Like, even when you lose the point that early on in the round, it doesn't matter, apparently. Just having that defensive push, being able to find those angles and get yourself set up properly just seems to be such a huge advantage. But Brandon getting knocked by SK from such a huge distance. A beautiful pick to lead off the round for Butler University.
Yeah, and I mean, overall, Butler University has had a great job of just finding the opening pick no matter what is going down, right? Like, they might get traded, but even then, they're still finding the opening pick. Like, almost 3 to 4 of these rounds, I believe that they had it. I mean, besides the one that Lavelle had, that one opening pick. And it really just puts Butler at such an advantage if you can just find that opening pick almost every time around, right? So now St. Clair, they're in a 3v4. They lose Brandon, which is a tough bout. And, you know, they have to do so much now. But Sauce, he is going to be putting this bomb down on A. Priestley will fall, though. So St. Clair, they're in a little bit of trouble now, 2v4. But they do have the bomb planted. Going to be interesting to see what goes down here.
So immediately after getting the plant, gets taken out, I believe, by SK as well. SK just having an amazing round for himself. That's 3 kills going his way in just this round, and that's going to be an easy defuse for Butler University, finding, again, the victory on defense. Like, you weren't kidding, man. This defender's advantage is just something to be seen. That's just crazy. Well done from Butler. Like, SK really deserves play of the game here, and I believe he's getting it. Awesome job from him, just single-handedly winning the round really for his team, finding 3 knockouts successfully, and then also leading the charge on the defuse. Just an incredible performance from him on that last round.
Yeah, and you know what there, Zeddy? It's really interesting because I remember just a few weeks ago, I was casting the Acti Blizz qualifier tournament, right? And I'd always say to Danners or something while we're streaming, I'd say, hey, guess what? Like, they have the defensive side here. They got the advantage. I think they can take this round. And you know what? As soon as I say something, that it just does not work out and the offense wins the round. So
that's the caster's curse, man. That's not a Call of Duty thing, I promise you. Anytime you say something on stream, it's got to go the other way around. And hopefully, maybe if we start talking smack about St. Clair, they'll pull it up and just pick up 3 wins for themselves. But we don't want to rig the odds like that. We just want to see some good Call of Duty gameplay. And honestly, today we are getting it. Some incredible performances from both teams here. I like the way St. Clair is approaching this next point. However, typically they were sending 1 straggler to A and then kind of 3-manning it down on B. This time, they've got Brandon holding that middle point as well, being the eyes for his team, that human ward placement, trying to just get some vision, get some intel, and use that to scope things out. Priestley, first kill of the round onto SK. Beautiful job, and that's exactly how you do it. You gather that intel, you find that pick, you make that push.
Yeah, 100% there. And you know what? Like, St. Clair, they had been doing a good job of at least keeping themselves in this game, right? Like, I mean, right now in the search and destroy, they're looking to tie it up 3-3 unless Plasma and Vortex can plant the bomb here with only 15 seconds. Now Plasma in a 1v4. So St. Clair College looking to find this round, tying things up at 3-3. And then if you are the side of Butler, I mean, you got to still be a little bit worried because even then the hard point, it was a 250 to 210. That's a pretty close game still nonetheless.
Right.
And, you know, if you're St. Clair, you're doing a really good job of keeping yourself in this one. It's going to be a really close series. And like you were saying, it's just great to see some great COD, you know, being played, some great games. And we like to bring the best content for you guys. And it's always entertaining to cast some close matchups. But overall, here we are. We are heading in to round number 7. And you know what, Zeddy? The defense trend still continues.
You know what? I don't want to jinx it or say anything, but I have a feeling we're gonna be in for a long one, folks. It's gonna be keep going back and forth until these teams can figure out how they want to make that attack. You can see here now on your screens the mini map in close view how these teams are deciding to approach these points. Now, St. Clair on the offense going for a much harder push onto B side. You can even see typically Priestley, who was their main flank, trying to find those side angles, is actually doing a much closer approach here with the rest of his team, trying to find those short angles, be with his team, get a little closer in so they can take these team gunfights here. Now, trying to get closer to the point. Sauce, I believe Sauce has the bomb, looking to get that plant onto B, has Lavelle up for backup. Nobody's really willing to make this aggressive push, but as soon as they round that corner, there will be blood. So be ready for that moment as that approaches. Sauce taking his time. He's got about 45 seconds left on the clock, and there it is as they start to make it around. 3 bodies hit the floor. Priestley, Brandon, and Siren gonna get knocked this early on into the round. Now we have Lavelle and Sauce left. Sauce still has the bomb. He's gonna make the flank off to A. Hopefully doesn't run into SK on his way there. He's actually gonna change his mind a little bit, be a little bit more careful, a little bit more cautious, see if he can buy himself some time. But unfortunately for him, Vortex is already making the read, moving his way up to support SK out on that defensive point.
And time is of the essence. There's only 11 seconds remaining. Lavelle, he has to get the bomb, has to plant it in 7 seconds. He really has to find all 3 kills now, and he will not be able to do so. Butler University will find yet again another defensive round. 4-3 lead there for them. And, you know, I'm quite worried that we aren't going to see this trend end at all. Because if it doesn't, Butler's going to win this game 6-5. Or, sorry, 6-5. Because they just started on the defensive side of things, right? This was St. Clair College's map pick, I believe. I'm going to check right now. Actually, no, this was Butler's map pick. So Butler's map pick and St. Clair's host. So since St. Clair is hosting it, it means Butler gets to start on the defensive side. And, you know, it really could punish St. Clair here in this one. I mean, Priestley, he's currently sitting at 9-5. You see Sauce at 5-5. You really just want to see a little bit more of Brandon and Lavelle. They're a combined 3-10. And, you know, you just can't have that right now in this close of a game. Priestley really doing so much to keep St. Clair alive in this one, and he knows that Siren's rush planting this bomb now. If Priestley can get him once he hops off this bomb, it's going to be a huge pick for him. The Semtex is out there now, but the trophy system destroys it. Plasma will find Priestley, and that is bad news for St. Clair. Bomb down, 3v4, and your top fragger is gone. So, going to be tough here for St. Clair.
Kind of that doomsday scenario that we were looking out for. You know, you need to getting that pick and then transferring it into a round win, and that's exactly how Butler's taking this approach. I believe Plasma was kind of holding his angle against Priestley for a little while. He was just getting cheeky, trying to find that shot there. But oh my gosh, Sauce is not going to take this lying down. Just absolutely popping off, picking up 3 kills for himself. Plasma is going to find the counter kill, and that is going to be the round for Butler. But it was actually looking really good for St. Clair towards the end there. They were taking out nearly everybody, but Plasma able to clean up the round by himself. The top fragger for Butler University, really showing his stuff in this round.
Yeah, you know what? Everything there was up to Sauce finding Plasma top room, right? Because there's so little time that it forced, I don't remember exactly who was alive with Sauce, but it forced him to hop. I think it was, it was Brandon. So Brandon, it forced him to hop on the bomb to start defusing, where Sauce had to go out and frag, right? He found himself 2 kills, but he fell just shortly after. And that gunfight top room, if he'd won it, you know, it would have won them the round. It would have made the whole difference. But it's so hard to do because he was already weak. They already knew where he was coming from. He found 2 kills, like, you know, just beforehand. All he really had to do was just try his best to actually keep Brandon alive and not die on that bomb, but just did not work out. Sauce gonna get aggressive here though early, but Siren will shut him down. Brandon does answer back though for a nice little 1-for-1 trade, and Lavelle barely keeping his life. Good stuff there from him. We have a 3v3 here early on in this round, but SK gonna answer back, shutting down Priestley. Now Saints at a little bit of a disadvantage.
As soon as you said 3v3, I saw the window, peek through the window. It's like, uh-oh, that doesn't look very good. That doesn't look very safe. And Priestley and Sauce, the two top fraggers for St. Clair, the first to go down in this round. I can't really tell from Butler if this is kind of just like happy accidents or if they're going out of their way to make this happen, picking off those key targets and taking that tempo and abusing it in your favor. Lavelle, very low on HP in this round, and two of his teammates already down. Brandon is going to be able to find himself a kill as well. So St. Clair actually has a numbers advantage right now, 2-for-1 here. Brandon is going to go down to SK now, and it's the 1v1 situation we know and love. Lavelle versus SK now. The bomb has been planted, but Lavelle is going to get knocked, and that is going to beat the game for Butler University. 6-3 here on S&D.
Yeah, and you know what? They really broke the trend there at the end of the games. You know, Butler, they just pulled things together and shut down St. Clair as a whole. Getting aggressive planting. They've been getting the bomb down quick, and that's exactly what's winning them these rounds, right? Putting St. Clair in a position that they don't want to be in, right? Like forcing St. Clair to become uncomfortable, and that's what really Butler did near the end of the game to really turn up and really start to pull away from St. Clair a little bit, you know? And if you're St. Clair there, the biggest thing I still got to keep in mind for St. Clair is you just can't be getting too upset where it's going to throw the next game, right? You've got to keep calm, keep your composure, and go into the next one like it's any other game like you have been playing this whole season. Each team, very good teams, and St. Clair just got to keep themselves in this one.
Percent. I always talk about that mental advantage coming into these games, especially in the collegiate setting where the games are really high impact. And for a lot of these players, you know, they may be really good, especially on that solo queue ladder. They may be really good when they're playing against their friends. But when you come into playing in a constructed competitive environment, you know, you have to make some adjustments, get really prepared for that mental strain. These games are tiring. Right? It's really hard, especially if you play a long set or if you're coming back from a long set. Like we mentioned, St. Clair just came from the College COD stream where they already played a best-of-5 match, coming in now to a second one here.
And that was against another 8-1 team. So, I mean, it's like they're being mentally tested throughout all of tonight. Not just this map, not just this series, all of tonight. They're being mentally tested on how much they can deal with.
Absolutely. So you have to take that in stride, you know, take that as a learning opportunity. Like what I'd love to see from that team is after taking that loss on that first game, you know, coming off against a really good team and going into yet another really good team, trying to take that learning and apply it immediately. Okay, they beat us on this map and this map. How did they do that? What did they do better than us? Were they grouping up together better? Were they winning their gunfights? Were they finding appropriate flanks? Were they pushing those points faster than we were, right? And now coming off of this S&D map, we've seen how good Butler is at forcing the tempo, right? This is something we talk about all the time. Tempo is everything. If you can set the narrative for the game, it forces the enemy to respond to you. They don't have as much control over the pace of the game anymore. They don't get to decide how they want to play. They have to play according to your rules. And that's exactly what Butler is doing in tonight's match.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's been treating them well throughout this whole game is, you know, setting the tempo. It's so big, no matter what title you're playing, right? If you can control how your opponent has to play, it's such an advantage no matter what is going on. So we will be heading back into raid here, though, on control. And this is going to be a good one here. Butler, they only need one more map to close things out. St. Clair, they're going to do their absolute best to keep themselves alive here for tonight. But Butler, they are looking to close things out here. So overall, I mean, St. Clair, they're just going to absolutely have to play their hardest. As you know, like I said, we head back here in a raid, and it might be a little bit of a curse for St. Clair at the same time. Brandon, the trigger discipline, gets behind all of enemy lines, finds himself one, finds himself two. Will he find himself the third? No, Vortex will be there to shut him down. But that is a beautiful start for St. Clair to lock down this A point.
So talk me through this control point map a little bit. You were explaining the rules of this one because it's quite complex, especially for players that may be new to the game. So for myself, and I'm going to disguise it a little bit as well, for our viewers that may be new to Call of Duty or maybe new to the stream, what are we looking at exactly with control here?
So what you will see is Butler, they will be attacking the A and B points. As soon as they get onto a point, the clock will stop. So the clock is really going to be of the essence, right? We're already down to only 45 seconds. So as soon as they hop on the point, the clock will stop. And if they secure a point all the way, like through the 3 ticks, then they do actually get the point. They get it a minute after the clock. If you look there at the scoreboard too, the lives remaining, it's a big thing. So St. Clair, they currently have a 6 live lead. That puts them in a great position as Priestley is just going to be feeding kills, and he's going to find himself a few more there. And, St. Clair, they're in an excellent position right now where, the Butler, they don't really have any advantage towards these points, and the clock just keeps on ticking, only 25 seconds remaining. They don't really have any progress made. They have the live advantage. St. Clair, everything in their favor here right now. And Butler, they really just need to get on a point, stop the clock, and, just all 4 of them get there and hold it down nicely. But it's so hard to do when you see Priestley currently 10-2, you see Brandon 5-2, you see Sauce 5-2. Like, everybody from St. Clair absolutely firing on all cylinders, and they will just look like they are going to take this one. Yeah, so look at Butler. Here's what Butler's doing. They are hiding because if they're trying to conserve as many lives as they can to determine, because it gets first to 3, right? So the number 5 is really, really difficult because the person, this is hard to explain, especially to a new player for Control. The people who have the most amount of lives total after every single round will get defense on the last side. And defense is the much favored side here in Control. So having a lives advantage at the end of these rounds is so, so crucial for playing in the future for that round number 5.
Right. It's kind of like how when we do those CSGO casts, we talk about preserving those weapon advantages. When you know you're going to lose the round, just hiding away, making sure that you don't drop your expensive weapons. It's a really interesting strategy. It's something I'm not super familiar with, but really excited to learn about and see here. And I hope everyone here on the cast is as well. Really interesting map style. And it seems like you were talking about that defender's advantage. Like St. Clair was just absolutely dominating Butler on that last point. Priestley having the game of his life, if not his career on that last point, just mowing down everything in sight and already off to a decent start here. Brandon finding that pick, but actually getting taken down as well. And Butler University managed to pull themselves a decent lead here at the start on defense. That 3 times multi-kill for Vortex is going to get taken down by Priestley though. However, now Brandon finding himself a kill as well. Everybody's kind of going just back and forth. These trades are ridiculously fast. Like, this seems to me to be one of those high tempo styles of play, those high tempo like map modes where just everything is happening all the time. There is constant non-stop action. You can already see from these teams that St. Clair doing their best to get on this point, but just getting held at the door, absolutely gate-kept by Butler from these windows, from these rooftops, these really strong angles. It's just so hard to even touch these points.
Yeah, and you know what? It's what I was just talking about, the defensive side advantage. Like, yes, they do have 2 ticks on B, but Butler is all over B right now. It's going to be hard for St. Clair to go in and retake that. They do have a 4-on-1 here, though, all left up to Siren. And, he's going to make his way around, but Brandon will be there to shut him down. So St. Clair are going to stop the clock. They're on the B point, and it is moving fast. So they will capture this B point. You will see a minute added to their clock here now as a minute 30 now remain. And look at this. Lavelle already hopping on A, but now Butler, they're going to be devoting all of their resources towards this A point, and it's going to be even harder for St. Clair to retake this point because, it's literally going to be having to shut down all 4 of these players. You will see Sauce. He's going to get behind enemy lines, and he wants to make them spawn really far away from that, hill or point as best as they can, just so they have more and more time where they can just spend it capturing it. So it is really a big thought process that goes into how this gets played overall. And, St. Clair, yes, you might see them you're already having 1 point. They haven't been on the clock. Doesn't look too stressful, but they are down by 5 lives right now and have no progress on A. If you're Butler here, you're still in a fairly good positioning, right? I mean, St. Clair, they still have a lot of work to do, and the time is slowly ticking down. They've already wasted half their time here that they've had since they captured that B point. And it doesn't look like they're even close to the site at this point. Vortex just going to continue to slay down these opponents, and St. Clair having a difficult time here trying to get control of this A point.
Just a really aggressive play from St. Clair. I do like the way that they managed to successfully cap that A point, though. They did a good job of trickling Butler's respawns and taking advantage of the fact that Butler had a delayed time back to the point. So they were able to find those consecutive picks. Brandon with a nice 1v1 onto Plasma, finding the double kill onto Siren. This could be an opening. Actually makes the read on, but loses out on the 1v1. If that had been the kill, I bet you that would have been it. St. Clair actually managed to find themselves onto the point here, getting it about a third of the way there. Nearly half
good
seconds remaining. This is looking actually not too bad for St. Clair. They're able to fight this out, but with 5 seconds remaining, are they going to be able to do it? I don't believe so. It looks like Brandon's decided he's going to preserve that 1 life remaining. He's not going to lose it, and Butler is going to find the defensive round win here.
Yeah, and you know what? It's really interesting to see people preserving lives more and more. At the beginning of the season, you didn't see it as much, but teams are really starting to come to the terms that defense is just such an advantage, right? Like already we see each team win their own defense, right? And I honestly do personally believe the trend's going to continue, which makes it so round 5 is really like it really does matter who's going to be on defense. It gives you such an advantage, and it honestly is why a lot of pro players they don't like control in the setting or anything like that, right? Because they feel like if you just get the defense, you win, right? It's almost like that. And, that's what really makes it difficult because it's so hard to play offense on control. I mean, Activision and Blizzard, they're doing everything they can to try to change things up a little bit here and make it better for each and everybody that is playing the competitive scene. But overall, I mean, it's just so difficult. So St. Clair, they will be back on defense here. And the big thing here is that they can just keep dominating on defense. They have to keep stacking up and make sure they have the lives count totally like one into their favor.
Definitely see why this map would be a frustrating map to play. A lot of the arguments against it are very similar to some of the arguments we hear about Assault on in Overwatch, about how oppressive that defensive advantage is and how so many games just end up getting stalled out until the last possible second, as you were mentioning, that round 5 being the deciding round here on these control style maps. But St. Clair, even though it's defense, even though they have this advantage, I have to say they're playing exceptionally well here in this round, finding a lot of multi-kills and just team fight advantages here. We can already see, looking at that kill feed, it is all yellow for St. Clair. Finding these picks, finding these kills at the start of this round. Sauce getting the jump onto SK before he can find that pick for himself. Now, Butler getting themselves...
Oh, that's 4 down.
4K. Butler should be able to push this onto the point. They're trying to get closer to B side and already trickling those respawns. You can already see St. Clair, only one man on the point, and Butler's going to have the jump. Sauce getting a good pick for himself. Brandon's going to get some cleanup on the side. So Butler, even with that huge 4K, they managed to get themselves onto the point, but only get it a little bit as St. Clair finally respond and get themselves back onto that kill feed, back at the top of that chart there with a 21-12 live remaining.
Yeah, and you know what? I think you do see Butler here now conserving their lives. They are decided, hey, guys, this isn't our round to win, so we're going to play our lives here a little bit, and we're going to see it over and over throughout this whole game, right? So currently, right now, I do believe that St. Clair does have the lives advantage in their favor. They have won their defensive rounds more dominantly than what Butler did on their defensive round. So this next round for St. Clair is going to really determine on how things are going, right? Part of me almost wonders, like, why don't some teams just, like, not even try in the round? They all just, like, camp in their spawn and just wait for the other team and just play it and only try on the defensive rounds, right? Where it could really just gives you the lives advantage and almost guarantee you that the round number 5 defense. But overall, I mean, you never just want to see that. Like, we never just want to be casting over a team fully just sitting there back in the back of the hill, like, just waiting, playing the game strategically or whatever, right? But overall, I mean, St. Clair, they already are on this 8 point here, and they're already getting a good amount of time on it. So look at that. Lavelle, he finds a huge 2K there. Priestley finds one. Sauce almost finding Siren, but Siren will make his way onto the point. And overall, St. Clair, they're not doing a too bad job whatsoever here to start things off.
You know why they do it? It's for the skill check. Everything in collegiate esports has to be the skill check. You attack on control. It's not because you think you're going to win. It's not because you think you can outbeat the defender's advantage. It's because you just want to watch the enemy suffer. You want to put them to the test and see how much they can take from your skills. And St. Clair, honestly, I have to say, so far on all of these attacking rounds, we're now on round 4. Out of every single one of these attacking rounds, St. Clair is the only team to have actually managed a successful capture of one of the control points. I believe they captured A on round 2. They were able to successfully get it, and they're already 66% of the way now on to B point here in this round. Got themselves about a minute left to do it, and they're already starting to work away at A. I really like the way that they're attacking these points. They're splitting Butler's focus, and they're doing a great job of just controlling the map. They're setting the tempo. They're setting the pace. They're forcing Butler to respond. They're winning out of their gunfights. As you can see there, Brandon getting jumped on, but actually finding the 1v1 win. Lavelle trying to pick up a 2K, but does get taken down. Sauce with the refrag. Going to clean that up for St. Clair. And now St. Clair, about 70% of the way on both of these points. They've got the time stalled out. They're doing a great job on this attack. If they win it, this could be the map.
Yeah, and you know what? It definitely could be. And they will capture A, and they already have a tick on B. And they have 2 minutes to work with. The lives are tied. This could very well go in St. Clair's favor. It's going to be real difficult, but you do see everybody from St. Clair. Look what they're doing. They know they have time. They know they have lives. They have such a good advantage in this one, so they're just going to push out these spawns. Plasma being the last player here. Brandon going to spot him. Will clean him up. There's only one player left back there. And look at St. Clair forcing them out in a position that they do not want to be in. Look at how far away Butler is spawning now. Way out there. And this is allowing St. Clair to really push up, and they're able to hop on this point now. So you will see Sauce here in a pretty good position. And now B is starting to get ticked. Lavelle makes his way up. And St. Clair, they have good positioning on this point right now so far. Siren and SK, though, answer back nicely. And that is going to be everybody from St. Clair falling. They did get a little bit more progress on B, and they, they keep applying the pressure, making their way up here on this hard point, or hard point, on this point. But overall, I mean, it's a lives tie. This could still go any way. I think this is going to come down to the lives here, Zeddy.
Absolutely, and it may not be hard point, but it definitely is a hard point to attack. Butler is making that very clear. St. Clair, they did get themselves on the point pretty early, and they did a good job of getting some initial capture points left out there. St. Clair now dropping Butler. It's down to 5-5, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the end of this round. This is right down to the final hour. Oh my gosh, Plasma winning the 1v2, getting 2Ks right there. Now St. Clair with 3 lives remaining. This is really down to the wire. They've got to
3v3.
Finding the 1 kill. That's 3-3 now. As you're saying, it's really, really close here. Everything is down to these last couple plays, these last couple picks. You can already see both teams really scared and nervous to step up here. Oh, Sauce, you stepped too close. You flew too close to the sun. Your wings got burnt, getting knocked down now with 21 seconds remaining on the point. They need to touch, and they need to do it in a safe way, and I don't think there's any way you could reconcile those two things.
Yeah.
You're going to come down to the blood. Who gets
1v2 for Priestley.
Butler gonna find the defensive victory there with literally 1 life in the bank for both teams. Butler taking the dub.
Yeah, and that was a really close round, and it was good. Like, St. Clair, they don't have to win that one. They just have to make things close, and now look at St. Clair. They're going to be treated with their reward of playing defense. Very last round, we saw how dominant St. Clair has looked on defense throughout this whole thing so far, and, I mean, they must be happy that they're heading into defense here to close out this game.
Absolutely. It's such a good place to be in, especially
after offense? What?
Wait a second. Is that right?
No, sorry, no, it's Butler that's on offense. I'm an idiot.
Okay. All right, yeah, be worried, man. Like I'm counting on you for this stuff. I don't know what's going on as well as you do. So you hit me with that, and I get all messed up and confused as well. But it's all good. We're all having a good time. St. Clair with that defender's advantage. Yes, that is correct. Having the live advantage going into round number 5. St. Clair does have the ability to defend on this last control point map, and you can already see, look at that defender's advantage coming in clutch. Brandon finding that high angle, getting a number of kills now for his team, going to be able to push Butler off the point completely. It's not going to be easy for them to touch. They actually did manage to get their foot onto both B and A. Very different from what we've seen in previous rounds. Kind of seems like a little bit of a fake out. Like the first 2 rounds, they weren't really trying, they weren't really coming to play, and now when it matters, when the stakes are high, Butler just absolutely gaming here on these rounds. 66% of the way onto A, 33% onto B. Butler already with the A cap with 2 minutes remaining. You know what? I'm starting to think that they were playing games with us, Jack.
Yeah.
I actually think they were inting it on purpose. Like, this attack is totally different from the last 2 rounds we've seen.
Yeah, you know what? We saw St. Clair come out in these past few rounds looking absolutely insanely dominant here on the defensive side, but Butler, they had a trick up their sleeve apparently. They saved this till the very last round, and they're playing a very, very good offense this time around, but looks like St. Clair is regaining a little bit of control, but the thing that is worrisome is there's a minute 40 still left on the clock. Butler is at a lives advantage, and, they do already have 1 tick on that B point. So, overall, I mean, this could still go either way. Priestley playing a great position here will find SK, but SK going to shut him down with the beat down, and that is going to provide Butler a 3 life advantage and going to open up the B site a little bit more. Will definitely make things a little harder on St. Clair, but Sauce and Brandon answer back nicely. SK going to fall to the nade, and St. Clair, they lock things down perfectly here.
just a crazy back and forth round. You can take a look at those live banks. Look at that. Just within one kill of each other at basically all moments in this round. St. Clair doing a really good job of fighting back against Butler's aggression here. You can already see now at that B point, they're starting to get it capped up again, but St. Clair not letting them last on the point for too long. Already here, Priestley finds that pick on the side, looking for Siren on the side. He is going to win out on the 1v1. And now St. Clair, it actually looks like Butler getting it pretty close. They've gotten the second tick. They're at 66% cap now. St. Clair with only one tick remaining, a minute left on the timer, and only 13 lives in the bank. This is really the round that we have been waiting for.
Yeah, this one is going to come down to the wire. I mean, even last round was great. These past few rounds have looked absolutely phenomenal just to watch from a viewer standpoint. So overall, Butler, they are going to be waiting. They're going to have a very organized push coming up here, and let's see what they can do with it. Brandon, we will find SK, so that's really going to slow down the push a little bit here, and that's the biggest thing for St. Clair, right? Shutting down Butler one by one and make it harder and harder for them to push, right? So you will see them. They're in a great setup right now. And Butler, they really only have one left in them. And it's really going to all come down to this. St. Clair, Brandon currently getting himself on a 5 streak. Only 20 seconds remain. They're going to wait for that last player to spawn up so they can start attacking through here. But it's all going to come down now. Brandon, he's in a great spot. Finds himself 1, finds himself 2. Brandon goes huge, finds him the 3rd. Sauce finds the 4th. And that is a shutdown from St. Clair College. And that will be the round. Brandon calling in some score streaks. And he is just taunting with the enemy team right now. Overall, great stuff from St. Clair College. The defense will hold up, and they're going to get on the board with the map 2-1 here in this series.
That was just absolutely crazy. We've seen Brandon and Lavelle bottom fragging in pretty much every single map, and now when it comes down to the wire, when it's game point, match point, final tick, 20 seconds remaining, and like 5 kills left in the bank, Brandon decides to pull out all the stops, find himself an 8K streak, and single-handedly pulled the defense for St. Clair. What an incredible showing from Brandon. That's got to go in the highlights. Somebody get that clip ready to go, because what a beautiful job from Brandon on that defense.
Yeah, so you know what? We actually will be hopping off of Raid now. I know we saw a lot of it for these first few maps, but we will be going into a map 4, so we will be returning to Hardpoint now. And it will be on Checkmate. St. Clair will be hosting the map, so you will see Butler starting on the good side of things. So it could be a little bit worrisome for St. Clair at the beginning of the game. You might see Butler take an early lead in the hardpoint, which, you know, could be worrisome for St. Clair. They're really going to have to bounce back off of that early lead if Butler does take control of it. And if you're St. Clair, the biggest thing that you want to do here heading into Checkmate is you want to flip the spawns, right? When I say good side, it means your opponent is spawning towards the next hardpoint, right? Because hardpoint number 1, it's always going to be in the center of the map. But hardpoint number 2, that's always near the side that is a good side, right? So what you want to do if you're St. Clair is you want to go around the enemy team, get behind them, flip that spawn, so you're ready there spawning for hardpoint number 2. And if they can do that, I really do believe St. Clair can really shut down Butler's momentum very early in this game. But it is such a hard thing to do no matter what skill level you're playing at.
That sounds like a really complicated strategy that's definitely difficult to execute. But I mean, if you can pull that off, what great momentum that would be for your team. And speaking of momentum, I mean, you've got to think of how good it must feel to be inside the St. Clair voice channels right now, just absolutely popping off after that last round. Like, you were this close to getting completely knocked, like just losing the game outright. And you have one of the most incredible showings from one of your teammates in that last round, especially that last 20 seconds was just all Brandon, and it was all perfect from St. Clair. And now you have to ride that wave into this next game, right? We talked about how coming into this, maybe they were off on a bad start, but now it looks like they finally found it. They found they're gotten back into their zone. They found their game. Just carry that through into game number 4.
One thing that does concern me is that Butler does look a lot more comfortable on hardpoint search and destroy than they do in control, right? Which, there goes my camera. But anyways, yeah, they look a lot more comfortable on hardpoint and search and destroy than they do on control. So that could have been kind of like St. Clair. Yeah, they do get the best of Butler there. But overall, I mean, Butler, they're just going to go back to the basics that they did to win themselves the first 2 maps. And if they can just continue to do what they did in the first 2 maps, St. Clair really going to have a lot to deal with and a tall task ahead of them.
100%. And For all our viewers in the chat right now, don't forget, sub to the Syncs Gaming channel so that we can buy Jackson a new camera. As you can see, he's clearly in need of it. We want to offer him a hand. We want to help him out. We want to see his beautiful face here up on these casts. So don't forget to come support our streams as often as you can. We are here nearly every night of the week with awesome esports matches for you to watch, like the CCL, like Call of Duty. And he's back. Welcome back, sir. It's good to have you. Good to be here. It's just going to be another moment now while the team sets up the lobby for game number 4. Going into this, Jackson, you've talked a little bit about strategy for St. Clair. What's Butler trying to do to win this round?
Butler, they're trying to counter St. Clair's strategy. That's all it really is, right? Like, they know they will be starting on the good side of things. So what they want to do is just contest the hardpoint 1 a little bit. What they want to do is just contest hardpoint 1 a little bit, so they don't really let St. Clair get all that time on hardpoint 1. But while they're contesting that hardpoint 1, they want to make sure that St. Clair doesn't get behind enemy lines. So they really are just, their 2 main objectives are going to be, hey, make sure St. Clair doesn't rack up a ton of points here on the first hard point. And secondly, make sure they don't get behind enemy lines and flip our spawns. Because that's the biggest thing right now. If they want to keep their spawns, they want to keep playing, you're going to probably see them play a little bit slower, a little bit more passive, not getting as aggressive for that hardpoint time, but more or less playing passive for their hardpoint, for their second hardpoint.
Right. It's about that positional advantage. It's not so much about the points on the screen. You know, you can always find those points at a later time. It's just about getting yourself set up in a good spot, in a good location, and making sure that you're able to, when you are able to cap that point, hold on to it for a really significant amount of time.
Yeah, for sure. So we were playing a little bit of lobby today, but I do believe we will be loading into the checkmate hardpoint now here shortly. So you guys shouldn't have to wait too long until we get underway of things. And it's going to be an interesting one. You know, I've casted checkmate a lot, and St. Clair, they do look pretty comfortable on checkmate. The big thing is there's a huge plane. Zeddy, I know you don't play a whole lot of Call of Duty or commentator or whatever it may be.
Not at all.
There's a huge plane right in the very middle of the map, right? And if you can manage to get plane control and really control all the angles surrounding plane, you can control the whole map. The map is in your palm at that point, right? So the big thing for St. Clair is also going to be, you know, hanging around plane, finding these angles, finding long-range kills, and just making sure that it forces Butler way back into their spawns. Put them in the back of the map, so it takes them, you know, an extra 5 to 10 seconds to run rather than, you know, a closer up spawn where they can get to the hardpoint quicker. It's going to be really St. Clair putting pressure on, Butler trying to put pressure on as well. And you're going to really see it and try to push these players back to their enemy lines. So we will actually be loading into the checkmate hardpoint now. So we should be able to get underway with things here shortly for you guys. So thanks for sticking into us and looking at mine and Zeddy's beautiful faces and listening to our beautiful voices as we, you know, commentate some of this college league for you. St. Clair College versus Butler University. Currently 2-1 here. If you are new turning in, we are heading into checkmate hardpoint and we are underway of things. Let's see what goes down.
Already see, kind of like you were saying, St. Clair trying to find this really aggressive push onto that center point. Butler holding those side angles a little bit more. Like you said, it's a really good call out from you, honestly, watching the way that they're setting up on the mini-map. You know, they're willing to concede that first point as long as they can hold those positional advantages. Plasma off to the side, not going to let any flankers go through. You can already see Lavelle trying to find that back spot, actually winning out on the 1v1 on Plasma. That's going to be huge for St. Clair because now Lavelle can already push in. You can already see, follow that mini-map, ladies and gentlemen. Lavelle sneaking into the backline, finding those back picks exactly as you talked about. They've already flipped the map not 20 seconds into the round. St. Clair is playing to their win con perfectly here at the start of this hardpoint map.
Yeah, 100%, right? And this is the big thing. Butler's University, their plan has completely fell through. So St. Clair, they got full plane control. They're racking up a lot of time here on this first hill. And if you're Butler, you got to be quite concerned because look at this. St. Clair, they have good spawns now, right? And I mean, that's all I talked about. St. Clair, I was talking about what they wanted to do going into this, and they executed it absolutely perfectly. So look at this. They have the spawns for next, but Butler, they are getting kind of behind enemy lines a little bit. You will have to see Sauce kind of turn around and try to find some of these picks here, but St. Clair still in a pretty good position here to lock down this one. Everybody from Butler kind of spawning out. They will have to deal with SK. SK is really being a huge nuisance to St. Clair right now, just hanging around enemy lines and just toying with St. Clair. Look at this. He's keeping himself alive, running around. I'm shocked how long SK stayed alive. But Butler, they're doing a really good job of bouncing back. They will finally make their way on the point. But St. Clair, they found an early 60 points, and that's perfect for St. Clair. Even if they, you know, say get like you were saying, the discipline to just give up a hard point. If they just give up this one here and start going towards next, they'll still keep themselves in a great position.
Absolutely, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Instead, they decide, just let Sauce pop off. We don't need to be disciplined. We just need to be better than them. And that's exactly what Sauce is going to do for his team. Finding that 2K, going to be able to force Butler back a little bit. They lose their positional advantage, and now St. Clair can hold on to the next point spawn. Got about 60 seconds left on that point, and St. Clair already started to rack up the timer. A 30-point lead now for St. Clair, and going to continue rising as they keep finding these kill trades. St. Clair still managed it on the point, but it looks like Lavelle, who was actually main oh my gosh, words, player on the point, is going to get taken down, and that means Butler is going to be able to find themselves onto the point. Now St. Clair, a little bit of an awkward position for their spawns. They're coming in from the top right, as this next point here, I believe, will be spawning somewhere off to the left. So now Butler finding that positional advantage here in this round, keeping the score relatively close, is actually really good for them going into this next spawn.
Yeah, you know what? And this playing control has been in St. Clair's favor throughout most of this game. So really good to see St. Clair, you know, they're really highlighting everything that I pointed out that they need to do. And, you know, it just makes me feel great as a caster to, you know, really point out and play out like 5 minutes before this map even played, like what will be going down. So St. Clair, they've played it exactly how I said they needed to play it. And it's really resulting them in a 100-45 lead right now. And it's really just going to start pulling them away from the game here. They are looking phenomenal. And it looks like Butler is having a hard time answering back. It looks like Butler, they really were, you could have almost questioned, were they a one-trick wonder for the raid hardpoint? Were they just so much better on raid, like that they just needed to play the raid to find themselves a map with? Who knows? St. Clair, they are leading by 60 right now, but Butler, they are slowly catching up.
Well, there's still plenty of game left before we get too far into the assumptions, but you have to admit, St. Clair is doing a phenomenal job on this point so far, absolutely leading. I was going to say, Priestley, look behind you, buddy, not where you want to be. Does get picked off by Siren there before they get into this next push. Now that next point spawning, and already you can see Lavelle, the cherry picker. This guy is always the first one to show up. He's the first of the party. The party starts at 10 and Lavelle's there at 9, hanging out at the door. That's where he wants to be. That's what he wants to do. And I mean, so far, you know what? You can't gas him for it because it's working, right? It's absolutely working. St. Clair being the first to touch, it's just so good because they get the points started racking up right away at the beginning of that spawn.
Yeah, and you know, that actually, one thing I do want to touch on for that is Lavelle's role. So he actually is called an anchor in with the team, right? So he's going to be the one with an assault rifle rather than a submachine gun. He's going to be playing longer angles, and he's going to be, you know, the first one to the party, which is going to be his role, like the anchor. Their job is to really sway the spawns in their team's favor. He's been doing a very good job of it throughout this game. He may only be 6 and 10, but it's really anchors' jobs really don't reflect on the scoreboard, right? I say it all the time when I'm with Danners. Sometimes not everything does reflect on the scoreboard. So overall, I mean, yes, Lavelle, he may be 9 and 10 right now, but he's having a phenomenal game, really swaying the spawns in St. Clair's favor, and it's a big part of why they have a 40-point lead right now.
For sure, man. Absolutely. I mean, now I feel kind of bad. I was just messing with Lavelle a little bit, just messing him a little bit, but he's playing his job absolutely perfectly. He's doing exactly what he needs to do for his team here. It looks like Butler finally managed to gain control of Plane, though. That's going to be huge for them going into about halftime here. We've nearly hit the 3-minute mark, about halfway through this hardpoint map, and there is so much action here in this plane. Butler winning out on nearly every single 1v1, every single 2v2, but Priestley finding himself a number of picks. Lavelle showing up on the scoreboard. There's Priestley with the 2K now in the plane. That's going to seal the deal for them, and with 20 seconds remaining, they've got lots of time to keep racking up these points. Priestley with a 4K. Priestley on a 5K streak. He is just going off right now in this plane.
Yeah, and it's a huge factor to the scoreline right now. St. Clair just slaying out perfectly, and he's keeping the streak alive, right? He may only have 28 seconds in the hill, but look at this. 19 and 15, currently leading the lobby in kills right now. And Brandon and Sauce, they're not far behind him. So St. Clair just completely slaying out the lobby right now. But you will see Butler. They do have the full control of spawns here for next. So St. Clair really going to be trying to get behind enemy lines and torment them a little bit here. Brandon, in great positioning, finds a huge gunfight win there on SK. That gunfight meant so much for St. Clair for them to try to retake this hard point, but Plasma will put himself on a 5 streak, playing great stuff there. Plasma really turning up here as this hard point becomes closer and closer and down to the wire, and this one is really going to go to the distance, Eddie.
Absolutely. We talked about that 60-point lead for St. Clair and then how it switched to a 30-point. Well, now Butler says, let's make it 20, keeping that score so tight despite how well St. Clair played the early game. Now 2:50 left on the clock, and that next spawn coming up shortly. Already St. Clair getting ready to set up on plane where that next point is about to spawn. So now Butler, yes, they had the advantage on the last point, but now they've got to get set up here and find these picks. Priestley with the immediate 2K, the 3K from Priestley coming out. That's going to keep Butler off this point for a heck of a long time. Does end up getting taken out by Vortex, however, but his team is already set up on the point, and the spawns from Butler are trickled. They are all over the place, and St. Clair knows exactly how to defend this point. That being said, Butler wants to put my foot in my mouth, taking over that point there, getting that defense, and now it's a little bit of a bloodbath up in this plane.
Yeah, so overall, right now, we still do have a fairly close game. Brandon going to get himself on a 5 streak before getting shut down to Siren. So good stuff from St. Clair, right? They're not just finding a lot of kills and dying. They're stringing kills together and really making a big impact on this game. Siren going to beat down Sauce, so a little bit of disrespect there on his name. But Brandon Priestley going to answer back nicely, and they're going to extend this to yet another 20-point lead. So overall, though, you do see a nice little battle go down here on the right side of the map for this next hardpoint. AK Lavelle, he will be the first person in this hardpoint, but Butler, they are making gains on him fairly quickly, and now they take control of this hardpoint. Gonna make things a little bit more difficult on St. Clair here, as now they are slowly starting to, limit the score that is between the two teams, right? They're coming back. They're only down by 10 now, and this is a lot closer of a game than we saw, maybe 3 or 4 hardpoints ago.
Taking a look at objective time, though, we can see Sauce for St. Clair, 1:20 capped under his name. That's an incredible job from him to hold onto those points, because you have to think every single second on that point is points going into St. Clair's bank. So Sauce doing a really good job of racking up those points for his team. And on the side of Butler, our objective time leader being Plasma, not just the objective time leader, but the kill leader as well. Finally topping the leaderboard in the lobby now at 28 kills and almost 2 minutes of objective time. Plasma is just playing out of his mind, as he has been all set. A completely predictable performance from him. This is exactly what we expect from him after seeing him in those last 2 games. And as I say that, does get gunned down by Brandon right off into the plane there. St. Clair finding these picks is going to help them get onto this next point. But right now, Butler has full control of this hard point. They're not worried in the slightest. It's really going to come down to St. Clair making a good play, finding a number of picks, and using that tempo to get set up on point before Butler can get their spawn.
Yeah, so Priestley did a great job of retaking control there. And, about all the talk about hardpoint time and this and that, one of the big differences that's really going to putting Butler ahead of St. Clair right now is the fact that they have 3 players over 1 minute in hill time, right? It really means that they're splitting up that hill time nicely. They're all stacking the hill together, and they are really, using force with numbers against St. Clair, and it's what's going to put St. Clair's back up against the wall. So Butler, it's all going to come down to this middle hardpoint here on the plane. Both teams going to be so close to closing this one out, but it does look like Butler, they do have the good control so far of this top plane. But Lavelle and Brandon, they do a great job of answering back nicely. That is going to be Siren finding Brandon, though. But now, just like this, St. Clair, they make their way through sight. They get the control. Priestley with a nice multi-kill, and now they are looking to close things out. 10 more seconds. That's all they need to force a map 5 and a possible reverse sweep. Let's see what goes down here. 5 seconds. 4 seconds. The time is only ticking. You will see the side of Butler all relying on that one gunfight, and that will be St. Clair College sending things to map 5. And oh my god, we may see a potential reverse sweep here, Zeddy.
Absolutely crazy performance from St. Clair. Take a look at this play of the game from SK. Actually, don't know if I remember this play, but doing a really good job of winning out on these gunfights there. There's the 2K for him. I feel like we saw some bigger plays. Like I don't want to diss the replay function here in COD, but I mean, we saw some incredible performances from everybody on that map. So I guess it only goes to show how well everybody played on that map and how close it was. Really, these last couple maps have been so incredibly close. And thinking about St. Clair kind of coming into this as the underdog a little bit, slightly lower seed in the CCL, coming off of a loss in their last game, not doing so well on the first 2 maps. And now look at this huge triumph of the hero type story, where you've overcoming all of these difficulties and you're finding wins on maps that you shouldn't be finding, or at least not to the degree of success that you're finding them. Now going into this 3rd map, I believe we're going to be looking at another SSD. It's It's going to be another search and destroy. And
Here on Garrison.
this is going to be a really fun one to watch. Personally, it's my favorite style of map. It's so fun to watch how these teams attack on these points and get themselves together on these offensives. And I know St. Clair can find it within themselves to find the dub on this map.
Yeah, so overall, so far, so good. And St. Clair, if they find this last map, it will be a phenomenal reverse sweep that they pull off, right? This Butler squad, they're a very, very strong squad. They're a top 15 squad in the CCL, and they are 8-1 currently right now. They are definitely a force to be reckoned with. And if St. Clair can definitely do this and upset them, like that would be absolutely huge for them. And here's one thing I do want to point out that's going to be a huge factor right now. St. Clair's momentum is all the way up here. Oh, certainly you guys can't see my hand. St. Clair's momentum all the way up here, and Butler is hanging around here down a little bit, right? I mean, after they dropped 2 maps, like if you're Butler, you expected to be on the couch eating a bag of potato chips right now, right? I mean, you expected this game to be over already done. And for St. Clair, force a map 5 here. There's excellent stuff from St. Clair, and it's really all going to come down to the wire. The pressure is high from each squad, and I know each squad wants these playoff spots so badly, and this map could really fairly almost determine a whole playoff spot. So I'm really interested to see how things play out here and what St. Clair can do, considering they fell on the last search and destroy. Can they bounce back strong enough and pick up this one?
So we've talked about the hosting advantages and disadvantages and the other styles of maps. Explain to me what it means for Butler coming off of that loss on the hardpoint map, now forced to host on search and destroy. What does that mean for this Butler squad?
So what it means is host. So they will have a little bit of an advantage connection-wise. Like their bullets might be registering a little bit better or whatever it may be, right? But they also will have the disadvantage that St. Clair will be starting on defense this time. So St. Clair, we saw the defensive side, they have a little bit of an advantage, you think. Like you just have to play a little bit slower, you have to play passive, or the offensive side, they're forced to push, right? But for St. Clair, now that they start on the defensive side, they will be a little bit more confident with that, where they can, start, they have like a good odds to, kind of go in and find the first opening round, pick up a good momentum starter right off the bat of things. And just starting on defense, it guarantees that you'll get the more defense rounds if it goes the distance. So I'm really excited here. I'm going to be so thrilled, so amped up to cast this map 5 here. And who's going to take it? Nobody knows. We've had every single game go down to the absolute wire so far. I'm so happy to give you guys some great content, some great late night Call of Duty for you all to watch. Here, if you are new turning in, we are heading into map 5, Garrison Search and Destroy, and this will decide the whole series. Butler University versus St. Clair College here.
New game, new map, and hopefully new strategy for St. Clair. That last search and destroy, they had some good defensive performances, but unfortunately weren't able to collect off on the offensive side. Now, starting off on defense, as you mentioned, they have the advantage here. They don't have to stress too much. They're actually playing quite far back here, holding that point between A and B, while Butler pushes themselves a little bit closer to B, likely going to look for the plant soon. Priestley finding the first kill of the round onto SK is going to be big. With these maps, especially the search and destroy maps, that numbers advantage is huge because it gives you such a big advantage when you have these team fights getting closer to bomb planting time. As soon as the enemy team goes to that push, if you have the number up, you can get a little closer. You can get a little bit more aggressive because you know that you have your team there ready for the refrag if something goes wrong.
Yeah, so overall, so far so good for St. Clair. They're on the defensive side, and Butler, they are going to be forced to plant this bomb here shortly, and St. Clair, they have a good hold for it, but Siren and Plasma go huge, answering back on St. Clair. Sauce going to get a good trade there on the Siren, but Vortex going to find one more, all left to Priestley. 1v2, this is the man you do want alive if it is a 1v2. Bomb is going down for Vortex here on B. That will be some tags from Priestley, but he won't be able to clean up the kill. Plasma going to reach out. Butler University will find the first round on offense. And that is a huge round for Butler because look at that. They're up 1-0, and now they are going to be heading here into defense.
That's definitely not what you want if you're St. Clair. Not only are you taking the round L, it's okay to lose a couple rounds on a map like Search and Destroy, but to lose on the first round as defender, when you're supposed to have this huge advantage, coming off of 2 massive round wins, this is the worst case scenario for St. Clair here in the Search and Destroy map. They've got to pull it together, got to find to see if they can get this offense to work, because if they can get this counter cap, they can reset neutral and start it on over again on round 3. But right now, St. Clair on a disadvantage needs to really show up and just outperform Butler in a crazy way if they plan on winning this game.
Yeah, so overall, so far, so good for the side of Butler. I mean, Plasma, he has himself already at 3-0 on a 3 streak, right? I mean, we've said it over and over. Plasma has been so consistent, so good, and he has been one of the top players throughout this whole lobby, and he is going to continue to show what he can do as he almost single-handedly won Butler that first round there on Search and Destroy. So now St. Clair forced to play the offense, going to be a tall task ahead of them. They know where Vortex is, but he's still going to be a force to reckon with, right? And St. Clair, it's going to be so hard just to gain a site control here on Garrison. Like, I find it so hard to play offense here, but Sauce, he's going to open things up nicely, shutting down Siren and providing St. Clair a good 3v3 here now as Priestley falls. So Brandon going to fall shortly after the Semtex, and now all left on to Sauce and Lavelle to shut down the side of Butler.
Gonna be a hard job for St. Clair to pull this off. Just left Sauce. Now he has the bomb with him, but it's a 1 versus 3 scenario on the attack. We already know how difficult it is, and just as we expected, Butler gonna find the defensive win here on round 2. Now going into round 3, St. Clair really at a disadvantage. They've got the defenders advantage here on this next push, but Butler has a round up. If they keep trading rounds back and forth, Butler's gonna win this come on their 7th round. It's going to, or on their 6th round rather, it's going to be the free dub for Butler. So St. Clair now not only needs to find the win on defense, but they've got to find that extra offensive win as well. They need to get themselves ahead. It's not just about keeping up with your opponent. It's about finding that lead, finding that aggression, finding that tempo, and just abusing it. Because if you fall behind like this, if you keep staying just playing catch up for the rest of this game, it's not going to look good for you.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, St. Clair, you're going to have to answer back here. And Lavelle, he's going to do a good job of doing so, opening up on an early kill there onto Vortex. So now a 4v3. This is good for St. Clair. You have numbers in your favor. Now just play your position. You're on defense. Everything is in St. Clair's favor right now, right? They just need to lock things down and make sure they play their absolute A game. They need this round to at least kind of keep themselves in this matchup a little bit, right? You do not want to allow Butler to take a 3-0 lead and already be halfway to closing this one out. If you're St. Clair, this round is absolutely crucial to win, and they have a great start of doing so, but will they be able to follow up and close it out? That is what's going to be the big kicker. If they can actually close things out. SK going to be tagged down a little bit. So St. Clair, they've gathered a good amount of intel, and they have great intel. But look at this. The bomb being planted B. This could be a big reckon in St. Clair's plans. But that's going to be Sauce. He blows up the barrel. He blew up the barrel and will find Siren. So now 4v2, but the bomb did go down. That will be SK answering back and finding one. Plasma going to find another one. So 2v2, bomb planted. Oh my gosh, this round is coming down to the wire.
Really, I love seeing that creative approach to the point. It's just such a brilliant use of the map on that attack that you can already see now. Plasma struggling to get himself onto the point. That's going to be the takedown for Sauce, and they should be able to get the defuse here. There's Lavelle already on the point, finding that defuse, and St. Clair is going to pick up the round win on defense. Can they turn this into an offensive victory going into round 4? That's what it's all about. What I want to see from St. Clair, we've seen some really good individual performances. What I want to see is a good team approach. Rather than just passively holding your angles, especially when you're on offense, I'd like to see an aggressive move. Making a coordinated push onto the point, maybe taking 2 members, going for that flank angle, finding that pick and using that pick into the to push onto the point and get that bomb planted. You can't play it slow. You need to get aggressive, and you need to get the first jump. Let's see if St. Clair can find it within themselves to get that spacing going and get themselves on this point before it's too late.
Yeah, so overall, right here, like you were saying, let's see if they can find themselves an offensive round win. That could really turn the tides for St. Clair and really, tie up this game once again and put St. Clair in another winning position. But right now, they already lose Brandon, so they're down a player 3v4, and you're going to have to see everybody from Saints answering back and answering back strongly, right? But it's so hard on Garrison to just play the offense, right? And you also rarely see people hit that A bomb site because it's so much even harder to retake that. So B always is going to be the main focus, but Lavelle, cheeky angle there onto SK, will find a nice pick to even the numbers up 3v3. And, Priestley fell as well, so 2v3, but still evening up the numbers a little bit. And now Sauce trying to find something there, top green room, but will not be able to connect with that. Lavelle, he's going to throw out some util, but it will get stopped from the trophy system. Bomb is planted, though, so that is one thing going in St. Clair's favor. Now, can they hold this one down? Vortex will find one, though. Lavelle able to answer back. He's got himself in a 1v2, but he does have this bomb planted. Right now, his main focus is to keep his life, but Siren is chasing. Oh my god, Lavelle, he almost finds it, but Siren goes absolutely huge for Butler and will find the round. So that is going to be 3-1 lead for Butler. St. Clair must be getting a little bit worried here.
Unfortunate for St. Clair. Lavelle had the jump in the 1v1, but just barely missed the headshot to lose out the round. So unfortunate. That nice shot there onto SK. We are going to get to see that again as the highlight of the round. A really good job from Lavelle. It's actually what allowed them to get that plant, finding that cheeky angle, getting that kill, letting them get that push onto the point. It was such a strong start, but losing out on that 1v1 is just absolutely devastating for St. Clair.
Yeah, for sure. So right now, we have a 3-1 lead for Butler. St. Clair going to be back on the defensive side of things. And, I said it previously when they were down 2-0. This round is crucial for them to win. You do not want to allow Butler to take a 3-point lead. A 3-point lead in Search and Destroy is almost game-changing, right? I mean, it's such an advantage over your opponents because you literally have no room for error then if you're St. Clair, if you let Butler find yet another round. So, going to be huge here for them to have a great defense hold, lock down things nicely, and just play the Search and Destroy that they have been practicing all semester. So far, so good for St. Clair. No casualties yet, and the time is ticking down for the side of Butler, so they will be forced to make a play here shortly, but let's see what St. Clair can do here. They do want to find an opening pick. I wouldn't be too comfortable yet if you're St. Clair. You do want to at least find something and translate things a little bit in your favor.
100%. I really like how this map is influencing a lot of these aggressive and defensive plays for both of these teams. All the underground angles, the above ground angles. It's such an interesting kind of style of approach on this Search and Destroy. You really have to get creative with how you attack these points. And Priestley finding the first pick up onto Vortex and SK. That's 3 down on the side of Butler, just Plasma remaining. We talk about Priestley being the man you want alive if you're St. Clair, but Plasma being the one that you want alive if you're Butler. Unfortunately, not going to do anything for them this round. I believe Priestley did manage to find the last pickup there onto Plasma to seal the deal and close out the round. But really, Butler holding St. Clair, really forcing St. Clair to get aggressive here now. 3-2 for Butler University as St. Clair goes on the attacking side of things as well. I do want to bring up both of these teams seem to be really willing to concede that B-side push. They're kind of happy holding that mid-side angle between A and B, waiting for a team to plant and then getting aggressive. Talk me through that a little bit, Deprive. What's the logic there? What's the rationale?
Sorry, yeah. So, it is a little bit of a, it's hard because it's so hard to play offense here on Garrison, right? Because, it's like you look at the side of Butler right now and where they're positioned, right? They have almost every line of sight towards this B bomb and even A, completely locked down. So for St. Clair to try to rush through and maybe get the plant down, it's so hard because, the thought process is, okay, send 2 people there onto B, and you can have one person watching over the person who's planting the bomb, while the other person can get the bomb down, whatever it may be, right? But overall, I mean, it's just so hard right here for St. Clair to, try to break through even any offensive team, right? So for Butler to find at least one offensive round win, it makes it absolutely so much harder on St. Clair to, find something there on the offense now, right? Like you were saying, right? They send a couple people up, they send 2 people together, and it's just so it's the power in numbers here in Call of Duty, right? It's so hard to win a 1v2 where that's what the thought process is behind it, but Priestley and Sauce, they will fall early here. Now 4v2. Going to be tough for St. Clair. Now everything up to Brandon. 1v4. Tall task ahead of him. SK will spot him. Will shut him down. 4-2 lead here now for Butler. St. Clair College, they got to be shaking in their boots a little bit here.
So unfortunate. As soon as Sauce went down, I was kind of biting my lip a little bit. I was like, oh, geez, that's not where you want to be, because losing the bomb there when you're on offense, dropping the bomb right out in the open, there's no way you can ever reclaim that and try to get that push set up. You have to find your way in a 1 versus 4 scenario. It's just an impossible task required of you. And now St. Clair back on defense here. Let's see if they can get the easy round win. If they can hold this one out, there's still hope. But losing this round really just seals the deal for St. Clair. So keep your eyes on this one. This is going to be a big round for St. Clair.
Yeah, you're right. Like, it feels like almost St. Clair is almost like just fighting to stay in this game rather than trying to take control of this game. And you know, you were talking about just a few maps ago, a team who can determine the tempo of the game really has an upper hand. And it really does seem that Butler is really determining the tempo throughout this whole game, and it's what's providing them an upper hand. So an early trade goes down between SK and Priestley, so we do see a 3v3 here nice and early on in the round. But overall, like, I still do think that Butler does dictate the tempo here throughout this one so far. Like, look at this. Plasma, shutting Plasma down for Sauce, absolutely huge pick. The top fragger is now out for Butler, and that is St. Clair's biggest threat. So St. Clair, they're in pretty good position now. If they can just keep holding their positions and just lock things down, you will see Brandon here. He's in a great spot to kind of get behind enemy lines and maybe find Vortex, but Siren going to come right up there behind Sauce. Sauce going to get cleaned up. Now a 2v2, and Siren is planting the bomb. Lavelle will find him, though, and that's going to be the kill. Now everything left to Vortex and a 1v2 versus Brandon and Lavelle.
Pretty good for St. Clair. They know where the bomb is. They know exactly where Vortex has to go. They have all the time in the world to get set up and defend this point. Having taken out the bomb carry, just absolutely huge. Vortex trying to find that angle, trying to find that flank. Does actually manage to get behind Brandon. That is huge for Vortex. And now time up to Lavelle, but there's no time left. St. Clair is going to find the win. Vortex, you know, he scared me for a little bit. It was like, oh man, what a beautiful play. But unfortunately, the time was not on his side. St. Clair finds the defensive win on round 7.
And if you're Lavelle, you know that the time is of the essence for him, right? So as soon as Brandon even starts getting shot at, Lavelle's like, okay, he has no time to run all the way over there, grab the bomb, and then spend 5 seconds planting it. So Lavelle is just going to beeline it far away from his opponent as he can and play his life. Good stuff there from Lavelle. 4-3 now. And now this is what we need to see from St. Clair, right? We haven't really seen them win an offense yet. And that is going to be the big game changer, right? Winning an offense can completely turn the tides of the whole game. Because listen, they win this offense here, they tie things up 4-4, and they're put back on defense where they're more comfortable, right? Which puts them in great positioning. But so far, not a good start as Brandon's going to fall early. And Brandon is actually 0-7 so far in the Search and Destroy game. He is really having a very difficult time getting things going here on Garrison.
It's so unfortunate too, especially after the incredible performance we saw from him on the
Map 3.
On map 3, just absolutely cleaning up on control, and now back on Search and Destroy, just not able to find his groove here on this map. Now St. Clair down a man, still has there's still hope in the air though for this one. It's not totally doomed yet. You've got Sauce on the side trying to find that flank angle onto B. Siren's getting really up close and personal here, holding that close angle as Lavelle tries to provide that coverage so that Sauce can get onto point. Sauce actually managing to find himself pretty close to the point. He is going to be able to look for the plants here, finds the sneak attack onto the point, and this is huge. If St. Clair can finish this plant, that's absolutely massive for St. Clair. Now down 2 man, it's down 1 actually. They did actually manage to find the counter kill into Siren. Must have missed that, but we're down to a 2v3 scenario with the bomb planted. St. Clair could actually find the win on this map with 30 seconds remaining. Butler has to make that defensive push, and Lavelle finding the pick on the Vortex. That's massive. The 2v2 now with the bomb on the point. Finding the jump with the Plasma, but missing absolutely everything. Lavelle, not the shot. The shots we see an SK winning out on the 1v1 against Clair. It's absolutely tragic for St. Clair. They had the positioning advantage. They had the tempo. Time was on their side. And you just whiff the gunfight. You can't have that. That's unacceptable if you're trying to win this game. And unfortunately for St. Clair, it's now down to match point.
Yeah, well, to be completely honest, I'm not going to want to put that too much on Sauce. Lavelle, he really got over aggressive when it wasn't really needed, right? He really challenged that gunfight when he had the bomb down. Like, the time is in your favor, right? You just have to play your time and just sit there and wait for your opponents to make the move. But it looked like Lavelle, he wanted to get aggressive. He wanted to close things out quickly. Didn't work out in his favor. And he also could have challenged SK. He spotted SK in his peripheral vision. And, you know, he really could have challenged that gunfight, which would have been much more in his favor. But he did decide to go for Plasma right there below him. Wasn't able to find the kill. And it really swung the tides in Butler University's favor. So, now Butler winning another round puts them at match point and only 1 round away. This is so close here.
St. Clair, in order to win it, have to win the next 3 rounds. They have to win on defense. They have to find the offensive win. They have to get the defensive win as well. And now Brandon, now 0-8, getting taken down by Plasma. The first kill of the round. Priestley does find the refrag on to Vortex. So now a 3v3 situation. Priestley finding the kill through the bump onto Byron. A second kill onto Plasma. Priestley is not going to let his team throw this game just yet. He wants to keep going. Wins one.
Got the ace!
Okay, let's go. Priestley with the ace. Now Sauce going to get the defuse now. And St. Clair, they've got one more chance to win it. They have to win on this offense. Strap in, folks. This is the last round of the game. This is going to be the most intense thing we have seen up until this point.
Yeah, I mean, Priestley says, hey guys, we aren't going to the couch and eating our potato chips yet. We are staying here. We are playing this game, and we are not going down yet. Here's a quick little ace for you guys. This should boost your momentum up a little bit. Let's come out strong and win this thing. They haven't been able to win an offensive round yet, but I think with that momentum, they definitely have potential to do so right here, right now.
It sounds like you want some potato chips, Deprived. We're going to have to talk about it after the cast. We'll grab you a bag of Doritos or something to reward you for your hard work tonight. But man, oh man, St. Clair, if they want to get any Doritos for themselves, they've really got to show up here. You know, I'm only offering Doritos to winners, so let's see some dubs tonight here on the Saints Gaming channel. We've got 2 rounds left. Only if St. Clair can win this one more chance to win it afterwards. They've really got to win on this offense, and already you can see their attack approach is a little bit different. You can see they've passed the bomb to Sauce, and he's making an aggressive push towards A site. This is really interesting for them. They've usually gone this 3-man dive onto B, but now Sauce getting frisky, gonna try something a little bit different, set up in the far room on the right, looking for that push onto A. He's got 2-man defending there. It's Vortex and Plasma holding that point. The top fraggers on the side of Butler holding that defensive site. This is a really ambitious move from St. Clair if they can find their way onto this point.
Yeah, I mean, St. Clair, I feel like they needed to change things up, though, right? Like, if it wasn't working, like, you gotta fix it. You gotta at least try something new. You can't go out of this game, like, let's say they drop this round, right? You can't go out of this game saying, hey, we didn't try anything new. We just kept doing the same thing over and over again, and it didn't work. It's at least, you know, say, hey, we tried something new. Didn't pay off. It is what it is at the end of the day. Well, look at it. They actually do wrap this round. They decide to plant a B, so that will be nice kills opening there. That's 2 down. They are at a 3v2 now. Bomb is getting planted. They have plenty of time to get this down. So there it is. The bomb goes down, and St. Clair wins in offense. We are map 5, round 11. This is going the distance, folks.
Oh my gosh. I'm not going to lie. When this cast started, I was kind of laying back in my seat, getting comfy. Now I am fully just right here and there, leaning forward. My face is practically in the camera. I am so hyped for this. This is crazy. The amount of energy and suspense building up into this last map. Let's be clear about what happened here, Deprived. We started out, we were getting wiped. It was 2-0. Going into that third map, we didn't even think we were going to win. We pulled it to the last straw, last 20 seconds, find the dub. Now we're on a reverse sweep on map 5 at literally match point, the ultimate time. Like, this is the ultimate round in this entire set, and we are getting to see this action live here in front of you now on Twitch. Like, this is just such an awesome moment for St. Clair. This is going to be the round that really sells it. Like, hell, if you make it to playoffs, this round matters more than anything in the world right now.
Yeah, so one thing I do really want to touch on is, you know, that St. Clair, they just won an offense, so it really might boost their momentum a bit going into this one, saying, hey, guys, we just did it. We can definitely do it again. What will happen here? Let's find out, right? So, you know, overall, they are going to be trying their best, but 45 seconds has already gone down the clock, and you see these teams playing a little bit slower. Priestley going down. He's going to be out for the rest of this series. Now a 3v4. Brandon, Sauce, and Lavelle. Can they clutch it up? This bomb is being planted. Sauce will get shut down, though, through that bomb. And now, just like that, all up to Brandon and Lavelle. Can they make a miracle happen here in a 2v4? Definitely won't be easy, but definitely isn't impossible. SK getting aggressive here on Brandon a little bit, but doesn't decide to peek up, but that's going to be Siren tagged down, not able to find the kill. SK, oh my god, will he be able to find it? He chases him out, he finds it with the pistol. Plasma will find Lavelle though. Brandon, 1v3, 7 seconds left, isn't able to do it. Butler, University will be your winners here in this series, taking it 6-5, map 5. But I do got to give a huge ton of props to St. Clair for at least, you know, coming back and fighting, right? I mean, you're down 2-0 in the series. They could have easily put their head down and quit, and they could have easily, you know, stopped trying their absolute hardest. But here we are. We see them. They force it to a map 5. They force it to a round 11. They were down. They were always the constant, like, they were always constantly behind Butler, right? And for them to just keep up, they kept up. They kept up. Like, yes, it might have been Butler's tempo for most of this series, but St. Clair was able to keep up with it. So that's good news for St. Clair. But the big thing is, I think if you're St. Clair, is you're going to want to be less being able to keep up with the tempo, but more being able to set the tempo. And that's going to be one of the big differences here moving forward. Tough loss for St. Clair there. But overall, you still got to be proud of yourselves making a little bit of a comeback there. And, at least still challenging your opponents.
Right. It's just so unfortunate. Like, I was getting so hyped for my boys after seeing that win on offense on round 10, getting so close to the victory and just not being able to grab it. It's got to be rough. Like, it would be really hard. Must be really hard to be one of the Call of Duty team members right now. It's just not a good spot to be. But I mean, like you said, find those small victories, right? You played your absolute hardest, your absolute best against the team that you knew was slightly favored coming into this match, and you still gave like everybody a great game to watch, an awesome match for us all to enjoy. And at the end of the day, like, that's what it's all about. It's just having a good time, doing the best that you can, learning from your mistakes, improving, and just being getting better each and every day. And that's really what this game came down to. Is it's one of those games where you're going to look back and say, I didn't play my best here, or maybe I did, but I need to be better for next time. And for St. Clair, this is kind of the story for today. It's a tragic end to such a beautiful story, that reverse sweep and just barely losing out on the last map.
Yeah, you know what? For sure. And overall, was a great game. I hope you guys all enjoyed the broadcast. And we would not be able to do it without you viewers always coming in here and supporting us. So we really do appreciate all you guys tuning in. Want to give one more quick shout out to our sponsors, St. Clair College Alumni Association, PCL, Zuckelman School of Business and Information Technology, St. Clair College, Tim Hortons, and the St. Clair SRC. Literally would not be possible to put on this production without them. So huge shout out to them. We really do appreciate their support. And, we also do appreciate anybody who decides that they want to purchase some sweet apparel, just like this jacket I got on. So we want to cut to a quick little apparel ad here. Here we go. The Saints merch drop. We got some masks. We got some jerseys. We got some hoodies. We got some pro jackets, just like the one I'm wearing right now. So overall, go get your gear there at acquire.com. It all looks nice and fresh and clean, nice high quality. Overall, really good equipment. And now let's cut to a little bit of our schedule here as coming up for the next week. Let's see what we got. So we got Fortnite tomorrow, 8 p.m. EST and Play Versus. We got Overwatch on Thursday, March 11th. They're going to be competing once again, as they do on a pretty much a weekly basis. And then we have a double header that day with a League of Legends coming around just 3 hours later. And that is going to be a great one as well. So I believe you're going to be on the mic for that one, aren't you, Zeddy?
Absolutely. It's our round of 16 in the Upsurge Minor League. It's going to be a great game to watch. First round back into playoffs after coming off of a 5-0 streak in the qualifying round. So if you're a League of Legends fan, even if you're not, come check us out March 11th, Thursday night at 8 p.m.
Yeah, and then we do have Rainbow Six, Friday, 9 p.m. EST, some late night Friday Rainbow Six. Make sure you tune into that one. And then following Saturday, 7 p.m., back with you with some more collegiate Call of Duty. It's some great action, and I know you guys will all want to tune back in for that one. It's going to be an absolute banger. So, if you want to see the St. Clair College bounce back a little bit after they had a little bit of a rough day today, you can catch that there on Saturday, 7 p.m. EST. But overall, Zeddy, I had a good time. It was great content. I hope all you guys viewers enjoyed. It was a great matchup nonetheless. And I mean, St. Clair might not have won it, but we got to bring you guys a great match. And that's what we really do like to see as well. We don't like to usually maybe cast as much of like a 3-0 absolute blowout, just a 250 to 50 hard points, whatever it may be, right? So we like that it was a close one. We got to bring you some very action-packed games. But overall, there goes my camera. Oh, never mind. But overall, that is going to be our cue to end the stream. And we do appreciate all you guys tuning in, like I was saying. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is The Prive, joined alongside Shaddy or Zeddy, and we will catch you later on the next one.